This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today we're going to be talking about the Kyrie Irving trade to the Boston Celtics. We're a little bit late on it, but hey, we got to cover it. We got to talk about it. Then we're going to get into our power forward rankings, our very controversial power forward rankings, because everyone's upset about our rankings in some way or another, whether it's shooting guards, whether it's small forward, whether it's point guards. People are upset about it. We put people in the wrong place, but hopefully power forwards isn't too bad and we don't have too many problems with it. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, thank you so much for checking us out. If you download it, it means so much to us. And if you're watching on YouTube, what's up? We gotta have 4 videos come out on this podcast, and then we're gonna have another one with the whole podcast on YouTube. So if you want to watch out for those and you want to stick around for more Fast Break content and all other great MVP content, hit that subscribe button. But boys, let's jump into it. On Tuesday, August 22nd, the Cavs and Celtics agreed on a deal that would send Kyrie Irving to Boston in exchange for Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and the Nets' unprotected 2018 first-round pick. And there's a lot of ways that we can look at it. And I first want to start off with the Kyrie side, because obviously we talked about Kyrie and where he could go. And I thought that the Boston trade would make most sense for both teams, because Boston had the future assets, but then also had Isaiah Thomas that could help out the Cavs now. So ultimately with Kyrie, do you think that this move and Boston as a team is the right place for him to become this star that he wants to be?
I honestly think it's a good move for them. It finally feels like Danny pulled the trigger on something.
He did,
and
I'll give him credit.
Yeah, and even Boston fans are a little surprised, because the narrative quickly changed from Isaiah Thomas being, well, just because he's 5'9", he's an even better player than Kyrie Irving too. Now Kyrie Irving's got the height, he's got all the ability.
25 years
slightly
old,
better athletically. Yeah. He doesn't have to worry about the hip injury. So, I mean, I think that Boston will absorb his and love him pretty quickly. He's a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal scorer. Like, I think it just shows how much Danny Ainge values keeping the core in the same age range and the contracts. It's a really smart move, because with today's NBA and the way that rookie contracts are set up, and going forward, you have to be very careful about matching the timelines for contracts and the timelines for your window. And because of this huge shift over the last couple of years with turnover, basically I think 4 out of the 5 stars from last year are no longer on the team or no longer starting. So
for the Celtics?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy. He's
the only
gone
one
young.
staying is
Horford.
Al Horford. I have a speech impediment, apparently. And Horford, I mean, was new last year.
Exactly. So I think it's awesome that he's kind of gelling this whole timeline together. The contract situation is going to be nice. You're going to have time to figure out. I think, honestly, this is a great move, and I think Kyrie's going to be a solid fit for the Celtics.
At least 2 more years for Kyrie. He's got this year and then next year for $20 million, and he's got a player option in 2019, but we know with player options, those guys never take it. But at least for Kyrie and how he fits on the Boston Celtics, Ricky, how do you think this fits with Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, Marcus Morris?
I mean, the thing that I first thought of when the trade happened was, so you want to be the guy,
Well, we knew that.
With Horford and Hayward. And it's like,
to be fair, those are 2 guys without egos.
2 guys without egos, yes. But the thing I look at is the big hype with Kyrie was, he wants to go and he wants to be the guy. He wants to do, and I'm thinking, you know what? Like, if you want to be the guy, and this is me, like a little pound the chest thing. It's, if you want to be the guy, go be the guy. Go to Brooklyn. Go to the Suns. Be the guy. Build a team up and go through the hard work. Like, that's what I kind of think of.
Being the guy doesn't mean being the best guy on the worst team.
Yeah, and also one thing, too, I mean, he's still going to... I mean, I feel like Isaiah Thomas was still the guy, even when they signed Gordon Hayward, and he was the guy when Al Horford was there. Yep. I still think that he's... And I think that Kyrie takes over that role of being the guy. I think he's going to be the main scorer when it comes down to the last second. I don't think
he's the clutchest guy in the NBA. I mean,
one of them, yeah. I mean, I put him and KD up there for sure. Yeah. I mean, at least KD last year. Other than that, KD not really. But I think when it comes down to last second shots, and Kyrie's going to be their first option. It's not like they can't go to Gordon Hayward or they can't go to Al Horford, but I think Kyrie's still going to be their first option. It's more about, I think, Kyrie just separating himself from LeBron, because playing next to Gordon Hayward, and I think someone on the Ringer said this on their emergency Ringer podcast, was, getting out of the shadow of LeBron James is different than the shadow of Gordon Hayward or the shadow of Al Horford. So now being away from the LeBron James shadow, if you win a title in Boston, it's not like, oh, you won it because you had LeBron James. It wasn't LeBron James' first title in Cleveland. It was Kyrie bringing a title back to Boston. So I think now I think it is Kyrie's team. I think he did get what he wanted. And he's going to a playoff team, which is something that he wanted. I don't remember if Boston was initially on his list, but he goes to a team that was, has been in the Eastern Conference, won the Eastern Conference last year. Obviously, their best player from that last year's team is now in the Cavs, but still, I think that Kyrie got what he wanted. I think, for your point, Dave, of matching up contracts, not only have the Boston Celtics done a good job of that, but like you said, other teams in the NBA have done that. The Suns have obviously done that. The Kings, with all their rookies, have done that.
They're going to run
the
into a
Sixers
problem with
too.
the thing. They've got like 9 guys on rookie contracts.
But at least for the next 2 years, the Celtics are fine.
Yes,
because Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those guys are locked up. Kyrie's locked up. Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, those two just recently signed. So at least long term,
they've got a great window
for the Celtics. Do you think that both of you guys? Do you think that the ages match up and that the Celtics are better long term than the Cavs, especially with the whole LeBron and
110%.
IT?
110%.
Well, because the Cavs are going to not be a team next year.
Well,
They're not
that's
going to be
if
the
LeBron
same team.
leaves.
Well, and that's why, I look at this trade, and I know you wanted to start with the Celtics side, but I think this fits into it as well. I looked at this trade, and I looked at the Cleveland side, and I went, clear winners. Everything that they did was basically telling me, LeBron's leaving. We know LeBron's leaving. Look at IT. They bring in IT. Yes, they could give him money, but they could let him walk. More cap space filled up. I think they get a Nets pick that could be top 5, top 3, could be even a number 1 pick, depending on how the Nets are this season. Yeah, they added some talent, but let's be honest.
It's also the East, though.
We're still expecting them to be a top 5 pick come next year. I mean, I'm not expecting them to blow the roof off of anything and be like a playoff team or anything, but I look at the side and I look at the Cavs and I go, you're building for the future with cap space and a very high pick in a loaded draft, what we always say every year.
Well, it's more of a, right now when we're looking at it, we know the top 5 is going to be loaded.
Which
but we don't know.
The Nets pick could be.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that last year we had a loaded draft class where when you're going into the 20s, you still have a decent NBA player. We don't know really what that's going to look like. The top 5's looking nice, but I don't know if deeper that's going to be the same case. However, I don't know if it's strictly a move for the Cavs for a future. It gives them the option for a future because then, you can just let IT go. You can let LeBron go. You have the cap space. You have the Nets pick.
Well, they don't let LeBron go. LeBron lets them go. That's how that
but with this, you can still. But even if that Nets pick is valuable and LeBron wants to come back, you can still bring back Isaiah Thomas if he is healthy and that hip is fine because he's he does rely a lot on athleticism. But even in that 34-33 range when IT's in that 3rd or 4th year of that contract, I wouldn't mind him coming off the bench as my 6th man. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is still going to be valuable. He's not going to be an all-star probably when he's 34 or 35, but he might still be valuable at that age. But also, that pick, if the Nets are terrible and LeBron is staying, you can trade that pick and still bolster this team and still go out and get a star and still help this team.
Win-win for the Cavs no matter how you look at it.
But I also think it's a win for the Celtics because, you again, going back to the original thing that I was saying, you line up the ages and you're setting up for the future because we don't know what the Cavs' future holds because of LeBron's option to leave. We know that the Celtics are at least going to have this core for the next 2 years.
Yeah, they look like they're surefire Eastern Conference Finals for the next 2 to 5 years, I would say. Honestly, it's 80. It's 90%, 89%, 88%. Literally, that's the only drop. They are so well prepared for the future, and I completely trust in what Danny Ainge has done. The only question for me was really giving up Zizic and the Brooklyn pick because, like Ricky said, potentially an overpay with that pick. They have a lot of picks though next year or the following year.
They got the Kings/Lakers pick, right? And then they got the 76ers pick.
Exactly. So they still have other options. It's not like they're forsaking their future. So I think this is a team that, honestly, they are the best equipped team going forward in the NBA. So they could afford to put that Brooklyn pick on the line and be like, you know what? We're going to get this deal done. We're going to get ourselves, the point guard that we're going to run with for the next, hopefully
10 years.
Yeah, hopefully next 10 years in best case scenario. But honestly, the way that team rounds out is nice, but on the other hand, the Cavs' future, I could see them going fire sale within 12 months from now. I could see this team having literally maybe led by Kevin Love.
well, we'll get to Kevin Love a little bit later.
And here's one thing.
I'm just saying, I think everybody on the team becomes either gone or a trade asset.
I was making a bad joke because we were doing power forward.
Well,
Kevin Love's there.
I just want to throw this out, though. I mean, I'm using the 2-year window that you just said. They have 2 years with this core. Like, if I'm the Celtics,
and I'm saying that 2 years just because Kyrie can opt out.
Yeah, Kyrie can opt out, and Al Horford can opt out. Yeah. It's Hayward that has the 3 years and then the opt out. I look at if it's just those 2 years because we don't know if Kyrie will opt out. I look at it as for the Celtics, this year might be a little shaky because the Cavs still have LeBron. Yeah. So you still, in my mind, have to give them the edge because they have the greatest player in the NBA. And then it's like 2018.
Debatable.
Well, hold on.
2018, 2019.
I want to preface this by saying that Ricky did put Kevin Durant above LeBron James in a small forward
coming into this year, but that doesn't mean that LeBron James isn't overall the best player in the NBA. I'm not getting
1A,
1B.
My mind isn't a bottle, man.
Last week I said 1A, 1B. That's how
and
close
LeBron
they
was
are
the
together.
B.
Today he's the A. Like that's how they flip flop each day.
That's all you got to take away.
They are 2K skill point apart from each other. That is marginal. That's marginal. But back to the point. The point is, this year they got to deal with LeBron. Next year, do you think they'll get past the Warriors? I don't. I don't think this Celtic team competes with the Warriors. And who knows after maybe, let's say, just for the sake of argument, if Kyrie loses to LeBron in the conference finals.
This year?
Yeah. And then gets there, be like, yeah, LeBron, you couldn't even get to the finals. You're with the Lakers, you couldn't get there.
If he goes to the Lakers, could be in the Knicks.
I know. I'm just using the Lakers as a kind of model because he wouldn't. Because I still would pick the Warriors for the finals, and then Kyrie loses to the Warriors in the finals. That to me, I would be sitting there coming into 19-20 season. I'd be like, Kyrie might leave. Kyrie might opt out and say, I'm going to go somewhere else because I can't win here.
That.
But does that mean? But hold on, I don't know if Kyrie's going to opt out because he can't win there. If he can't win there, I don't think he can't win in Cleveland, and he can't win with LeBron James. He just can't win against the Warriors. I don't think anyone can win against the Warriors.
Remember, in 2 seasons too, look whose contracts are up for the Warriors:
Clay, Draymond.
Yeah.
Well, looking at
Steph just signed.
Looking at them and that's why I'm
and
using
KD will be Mr.
And that's why I'm using the next 2 years as because
that's what I'm saying. So if he goes to the championship in 2018, 2019, like you said, or 2018, 2019 is what you're saying. Like the Warriors' contracts are still a mystery too. Nothing is a guarantee. You can't declare, a decade of powerhouse from a team because of the way contracts are.
Because Warriors have 3 years on Draymond, and they have 1 year, 2 years left on Clay.
Yeah, 2 years on Clay, and then Durant could opt in for that next year, or he could do what he did this year. Say, you know what, I'm going to opt out and take another.
Guarantee. Like 5 years ago, we're like, LeBron James and the Heat are going to rule the East forever.
And I'm just saying, I'm using those 2 years as the barometer because we don't know what could. Like, the Warriors could find a way to make it work to keep this core together in that third year. But I mean, I look at it.
They could also add Paul George next year.
Even if they lose Kevin Durant, let's say they lose Kevin Durant and he walks, he's like, okay, 2 finals, or 2 or 3 finals, I'm good. I'm going to go play like in Washington or something just to play at home to end my career. I still look at this Warriors team, even with Steph, Draymond, Clay, and then someone else, I still would pick them as the favorite to win the finals.
Okay, well, let's look.
They won the finals without Durant before. Why can't they do it again?
Because this is a different team. They weren't playing this Celtics team. Let's look at this. So let's say, at least going into this, the Celtics meet up with the Warriors in the finals.
This year.
This year. We'll push off
That's
LeBron.
Some high expectations for a team with such young players.
We'll push off LeBron for right now, and we'll get to what will truly happen in the Eastern Conference Finals. But Ricky's mentioning that LeBron and all this stuff. Looking at the matchup, you have Steph versus Kyrie Irving. Yeah. We've seen that before. I mean, I would honestly say it's a split. Just because, I mean, I would probably take Steph Curry, which is the reason why he's the #1 point guard in our rankings. But I don't think it's too far.
But we know
behind.
what to expect from that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's too far behind, especially with Steph's injury problems. I know Kyrie's also been banged up too, but I would say it's close enough. When you look at the shooting guards, Jaylen Brown and Klay Thompson, I would obviously take Klay Thompson, but then again, Jaylen Brown, he's a good defender, and he doesn't need to be that big of a scorer.
Would Klay though be on Brown, or would he be on?
He'd be on Kyrie.
Okay.
Yeah,
they put him on
Steph
the best
would be on
player.
Brown.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, at least position-wise.
Yeah, positional-wise.
then at 3 you'd probably have. I mean, we'll say that we'll just go with KD at the 3 instead of going with the
small ball
lineup of death. KD against Gordon Hayward. Then you have Draymond versus Marcus Morris, and then you have Zaza versus Al Horford. I'll take Al Horford over Zaza, but then again,
but everywhere else, it's. I mean, Warrior. I would take Draymond. I would take Durant. I would take Steph.
Do you think they win it? Do you think it would be a sweep though?
Maybe a gentleman's sweep, maybe 6. But I wouldn't think it would go to 7. I don't think it would go to 7
I think it's sweep or it's a 1 win for the Celtics. Like,
do you think that Celtics lineup has a better chance against the Warriors and the Cavs
this year? No.
No, but just saying, like, not going through each other, but just like Warriors versus Celtics in a 7-game series, Warriors versus Cavs in a 7-game series.
After this trade, I think the Cavs have the better chance. I think adding Jay Crowder and the Isaiah swap with Derrick Rose off the bench, like, there's a lot of potential for the Cavs this year, and I think it's just a lot of expectations on Jaylen Brown growing a lot again. Jason Tatum coming in as a rookie and having scoring expectations off the bench.
Yep.
They lost the 7th man? Because I would probably still put Marcus as their 6th.
Yeah, and then Rozier still, obviously.
Yeah.
But like that second group would that's where I get a little afraid because, you know, rebounding becomes an issue all over again because they got rid of Zizic, which was going to be their bench rebounder. So I don't know if I really favor the Celtics lineup over the Cavs lineup when it comes to that specific matchup against the Warriors. I think the Warriors matchup, I think the Cavs give them more of a problem. And
well, it also helps when you have LeBron James on your team.
Well, and the thing I like most about what the Cavs got, mainly because of the Kyrie IT swap, is what IT brings. Because let's be honest, both Kyrie and IT not known for their defense.
I like the 1 for 60 no trade backs though. That's kind of cool. The pick 1 for pick 60.
True. Yeah, 2011, Kyrie went 1.
What
IT went 60.
What that brings though is they're both kind of not that great defensively.
Well, that was the reason why Kyrie was above IT. I think in Dave and I rankings.
But
he can at least play defense.
But I like with IT because last year one of the big problems for the Cavs was great. LeBron's on the floor. Kyrie, you're not like you can run the offense, but you're not running the offense like we want to, and we're getting outscored when LeBron's not out there.
Right.
They now feel, hey, with IT out there, IT can run this offense, and we can give LeBron a break every now and then.
And they got Crowder in there for defensive, a huge impact off LeBron because he was just dead tired from playing like 46-minute games.
So when we're looking at this, starting lineup for the Cavs now would be IT, JR, Jay Crowder.
Till Dwayne Wade comes over.
Yeah, till Dwayne Wade.
Until the buyout happens.
So IT, JR, then Crowder, LeBron. Like what this lineup?
I think Tristan Thompson still gets time,
and then K-Love
at the 4, LeBron at the 3. That's the thing.
And then Jay Crowder at 2.
No, Jay wouldn't play alongside.
Okay.
He'd be the LeBron pickup man. But they could go to him and go small ball and kick Thompson off the floor when he's ineffective like he was this past year. Like, that's the option it gives them.
But if LeBron needs a break, throw him out there and you can play defense on who LeBron was playing.
That's the point. Is he's either the defensive replacement for LeBron or if you go smaller because Tristan Thompson's been less effective for you, so you run K-Love at the 5.
Or what if you do K-Love off the bench then?
See,
would you put K-Love on the bench and then run with Thompson?
2 years ago, I would. 2 years ago, I would have. But K-Love, honestly, I think that, and I don't want to get too much into K-Love, but like I think that his impact over Tristan Thompson's impact last year, there's a noticeable difference the way that team runs when one's on the floor versus the other.
Well, you're going to get spacing, and Jay Crowder, I mean, hasn't been known as a super efficient.
He's a 3-and-D.
He hasn't been, but he's not super efficient from 3.
%.
He wasn't 40 last year.
Ish.
I mean, if you're being very generous on your roundup,
we round hard.
I'm pretty sure Jay was like 33% last year from 3, if I remember correctly. I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me. But I feel like in those crunch time,
39%.
Oh, okay. Then I was just wrong. But at least with Crowder, I just feel like he's probably going to be in there at crunch times because he does bring a lot of defense to him. I mean, I would feel like IT is going to be out there for sure.
His playoff 3 ball is shit. That's what you're thinking of. It was 35%.
All right. Well, anyways, with Jay Crowder, I still feel like he's going to be playing though. I like last year was 33%. That's what I was thinking of. But I feel like in crunch time though, Jay's going to be in there just because of his defense.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why they go small because I think Tristan Thompson is honestly he was overpaid. He's overvalued by a lot of people.
Well, LeBron wanted him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Well, LeBron wanted to reward him for his loyalty, pretty much. Like, hey, you stuck it out with me. We got a ring. Great. I just think that he's not worth it, and him on the floor holds them up, both in their style play, because and even the weird reverse aging LeBron, like when they play quick, they play well, and that's exactly what the Warriors match with. And then you end up with the running back and forth. Tristan Thompson's just a liability at that point because that leads to wide open Draymond threes. We watched it happen. Like it's not a good matchup for them to have Tristan Thompson on the floor against that Warriors team.
I want to propose a question here because this is something that I thought as well. With the Celtics, just overall with the trade, do you look at what they gave up now and look back to all the rumors and all the stuff we talked about, all the news about them maybe getting like Jimmy Butler, this and that, and I look back to a time where before the 2017 draft, the Bulls offered Jimmy Butler for the 3rd pick, just straight up, and Boston said no.
I like this trade better.
If I'm Boston and I take, like, if I look at this trade, I kind of feel like I would go, you know what? Give me the Jimmy trade. Because all I'm losing is, well, in hindsight's 2020, all I'm losing is Jason Tatum, and I get to keep IT as my point,
who's 30 years,
who's going
to be 29 years old and on an expiring contract, and you have to sign him for 5 years.
But I'm just talking about for
with the hip injury.
Overall, IT, they loved IT in Boston.
Yeah, IT's great when he's healthy, but he's not going to be that great for that
at
long.
the point, you get Jimmy Butler now. He kind of takes away for Gordon Hayward because I don't think you sign Gordon Hayward. But just because of what they gave up, I'm like, the pick with Jay Crowder was going to go because he hated
the whole point
Hayward
is that they knew they were getting Hayward. So why give up anything for a redundant player?
And then also with that, Jimmy's older. Kyrie's 25.
Yep.
And Kyrie plays the most.
Jimmy gives you offense and defense. Kyrie just gives you.
That's the thing.
Offense.
I think that Brad Stevens honestly just values offense. He values scoring.
One thing that Danny Ainge has said, and I forget where I saw this. I think some guy sat down with Danny Ainge and had lunch with him or something. It was on Reddit. He said that Danny Ainge wants to go 100% shooters. He wants to go 100% shooters and scorers. So I mean, Jimmy, he brings that defense. But there's a reason, and the only reason why they're keeping around Marcus Smart is because he's so valuable defensively, but he's off the bench. He wants to start these guys who can shoot and score. I feel like Kyrie, being 25 years old, being the dynamic scorer that he is, and doing what he did behind LeBron, I mean, he wasn't able to control the ball and control the offense in the way that suited him best. He did a great job, and it's not like working with LeBron is a terrible thing. LeBron's going to set you up nicely, but I just feel like for this, I feel like Kyrie was the best option for them because, again, you have to take in that IT situation. He's going to be 29 years old after the season ends. You're going to have to sign him to a max contract for 5 years. He was totally worth that contract, too, because of what he did for you, and not only for you on the court, but he was just great for Boston in general. Yeah. So you can't lowball him because then you're going to look like assholes, but you can trade him and upgrade your team. Well,
they're getting some backlash about loyalty, but
but I mean, again, it's the NBA and it's a business. And
exactly, that's the thing. Like players can be like, "Yeah, deuces, I'm leaving. More money to other city."
Everyone, including me, is like, "KD, screw you."
Yeah.
But when Danny Ainge trades a guy who played 2 days after his sister died and totally put this team on his back, they trade him. He's like, "Well, we got Kyrie." I mean, like it's different, but I just it's totally hypocritical, and I play into it, but still. I just feel like this is an upgrade for them. That Nets pick, we don't know exactly where it's going to be.
Right.
I think it's a win for the Cavs because you get Zizic, you get the cap relief. If Isaiah goes and LeBron goes, you still get that Nets pick. And Jay Crowder's still locked up for 2 years after this.
Yep. Solid contract.
So I mean, those 3 players are those 3 assets are nice there. And I think it's beneficial for the Cavs. But even with Kyrie as a player, I feel like Kyrie, at least for Boston, is a great fit because he's got that attitude to be a superstar. He's got that attitude to take the last shot, and he's got that attitude of wanting it. And I feel like that really works well with Boston. Because
is Brad Stevens going to be the first coach he works with, though? Like, works with, and it's like, wow, that's a good relationship. Because, like, the 2 that I bring up, Byron Scott was kind of like a tank commander. But, like, Mike Brown, we've heard things in the past. Yeah, but we've heard things in the past where Kyrie didn't take coaching well from Mike Brown.
Because Mike Brown's a bum.
And then we also heard this like one of the big reasons why whenever you hear like on these interviews, like they ask Chris Mannix, like, did you think that this would have been done before? And he goes, yeah, you're not bringing Kyrie into camp because of what was said about LeBron, but more importantly about Ty Lue. Is Brad Stevens going to be then the first coach that Kyrie kind of works with?
Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches in the NBA.
I'm not questioning Brad Stevens.
I think it's similar to
Kyrie.
I think it's similar to like when KD went to the Warriors and was like, "Oh, this is how basketball's supposed to be played."
Yeah,
you have that moment.
But
where,
is Kyrie
because you've been in the system
is he going
your
to have that
time,
moment though?
I think he is.
Yeah.
I honestly think
he
it's,
bought
I
into
don't think
Duke.
so.
It's
bought into
partially
Coach K.
respect, and it's partially understanding, what you're around and what you can work with. Because as soon as LeBron came back to town, it was okay. This is LeBron's show. I'm his second man.
I think that's the thing is he wanted to be seen as equal to LeBron.
Yeah.
And he did not feel that way because LeBron was pretty much the coach
and that's
out
how
there.
you ran the offense.
And
that's exactly. He was the coach. He was the GM. He was everything.
LeBron
to a
ran
team.
the fucking show. And Kyrie thought he was an equal, and Kyrie thought he wanted to be treated as equal. I think Brad Stevens is going to treat everybody as an equal, or he might even give preferential treatment to Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving because they're getting paid like that, and I think that they might get some preferential treatment, but I don't think too much.
Yeah.
But still, I think that Kyrie just wanted to be equal instead of playing under the shadow that is LeBron James. And I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, Kyrie hit the game-winning shot, but it was LeBron's title.
Yeah.
I mean, it's LeBron's team. LeBron's the coach, GM. He runs the city. He's the mayor of
It's
Cleveland.
going to make that series awesome, though. I hope they match up in the Eastern Conference
And
Finals.
we got to wrap this up.
They open up the season against each other.
They do, and we got to wrap this up though because we're hitting that 29-59. So when they meet in the playoffs, because they're going to meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, because the Eastern Conference is a fucking joke. When we look at this, Kyrie versus IT and all of this starting lineups, who is the favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals? The Cavs or the Boston Celtics?
Just this year?
This year,
Cavs.
Yeah, this year I am still leaning Cavs.
Next year the Cavs might not make it.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, this year on paper, unless Derrick Rose's knees both implode and the hip of Isaiah Thomas goes down again, like, honestly, on paper, again, I think the Cavs have it this year because they have two great guards. They're going to get Dwayne Wade at the midseason, well rested.
Possibly.
Well rested.
Possibly.
I just think that they're the better team right now. I think that we're gonna watch Jason Tatum come out be crazy, but there's a lot of high expectations on young players.
Does it go past 6?
I want to go 7.
5
so
or
badly.
6 Cavs.
Right.
It'll go at least.
It's probably 6.
I'll go Cavs just because I can't go against LeBron. It's kind of like after Conor McGregor knocks out Floyd, I can't go against Conor.
Unless it's the Warriors. Unless it's Warriors LeBron, then you can go against LeBron.
Well, I'm still going to pick the Cavs. Anyways, that was a joke, by the way. Conor's going to get smoked. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. Also, how much are you worrying about the IT thing? That was the other thing. The IT hip injury.
Not at all.
You're not worrying about a 29-year-old with a hip injury.
I mean,
that was pretty serious, and he played a lot on. I mean, this could be similar to Chapman, where the Cubs overused him.
Like Dave brought up, it's not like they have no one behind. Yes, injury problems in his own right.
He played pretty well though.
They've got Derrick Rose.
D-Wade's going back to number 1. Though. So Cavs made it official. He's going back to the number 1. Anyways.